Going live, going live.
There you go. It's on.
There we go. Here we go. It is Mr. Campbell. It is Johnny Cole. It is HBCU Coaches Corner. It is SWAC Championship Week. We don't have no intro musical. You know, we're getting straight to business. We have a coach who actually knows what this week is all about, Coach Johnny Cole. Coach, tell me, what do you think about SWAC Championship Week, and what do you remember most about SWAC Championship Week going into this week?
Man, you know, firstly, man, it's like a hump off your back as a coach and as a career coach to get to that moment. You know, a lot of coaches go through this business and never win a championship, you know, or never even play in one. And just to be able to say, "Oh man, we got that monkey off my back. Great for your resume. I won the East or I won the West. You know, we're going to go into this title game and, you know, you got to reprogram your kids of saying, hey, this is the second season. This is what we played for. Man, but it's just a great feeling. Everybody is patting you on the back. Players are, you know, cakes are coming through the office, and, you know, you go out in the city and get free meals and plates. Man, it's just a great feeling. And I know that T.C. Taylor and Tremaine Jackson, who's been here before, man, they feeling good and great about their year.
Well, Coach, you know, one of the things what's so great about this, to get to the SWAC championship, you probably need to have a good coach. What do you think about that, Coach? Am I right about that? You probably need to have a good coach.
Man,
and the one thing about Coach, sometimes when you're a good coach, you get certain recognitions and things like that, like Conference Coach of the Year. You know, that kind of goes hand in hand. You know, T.C. Taylor, you know, when he won it, he Coach of the Year. Willie Simmons, when he won it, he was Coach of the Year. Deion Sanders, he was Coach of the Year. But, Coach, I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy that came on this show early on that was singing some songs. And I'm going to say, Atlanta, Coach. You know what? He one step of the way, but, Coach, I'll tell you what, he came on HBCU Coaches Corner. So you know what I think we should do, Coach, just to let people know that we're a little bit different? I think we might need to call it. I think we know Tremaine Jackson, Coach. Don't you think we know him?
Man, hey, just a little bit, man. I spanked him and changed the diaper a little bit.
Let me just see if we can bring somebody up on the stage. Wait a minute. What, Coach? Is this the SWAC Coach of the Year from Prairie View?
This is
no recess himself, Tremaine Jackson.
SWAC Coach of the Year, man. And that's just to tell you how he feel about our show, man. He broke off from, you know, he got a big recruiting visit, his signing day, they're getting paperwork together. But this tells you what type of coach he is. He's always, anytime he get opportunity to sell his program, man, he sells the program, and that makes him separate himself from a lot of other coaches. Welcome, Coach. I want to personally thank you. And also I want to say congratulations, man. You know, Coach of the Year. Again, I seen this 15 years ago. All you're doing is living your passion. You know, and it makes me feel with cheeks, you know, that at least I had a little touch.
Yeah, no
little touch of that success. Congratulations, Coach. SWAC 2025. Coach of the Year, Coach.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Tell us how, Coach, I mean, you got to be feeling good, Coach.
Coach, I'll tell you this, and you're going to remember this moment when I talk about it. You know, they didn't announce the SWAC Coach of the Year in 2010 until we were at the hotel about to leave. It was a Friday, right? It was before the game, and you didn't find out until we were at the team dinner. And, man, I remember looking at your face and all the work, all the recruiting. We still had the game to play, but I always wondered what that felt like. And I'll never forget what you said. You really talked about our staff. Yeah. And the Kevin Ramseys and the Daryl Cobas of the world that really helped get us to that point. And I got no choice but to do the same thing. Yeah. And I haven't gotten a lot of things right in my career, but I think I've hired well. And the people that we have on our staff, the administration, my AD that I got with back in January, man, AD Golf, I think that, and the players, can't say enough about our players. The accolades that I got is all for them. It's all because of them. And so it's humbling, but, man, we still got so much work to do. those guys congratulated me in the team meeting today. We had 7 all-conference guys on our team. When we got here, we only had 1 guy, and it was a kicker. We had nobody on offense and defense. And so to see, we had the freshman of the year as well, to see this team get some accolades after nobody thought. I think we were picked 7th in the league and 3rd in the West. And all these things were supposed to happen to us because we had 70-plus new guys. And to see this team right now competing and practicing and getting ready for a championship against a really good opponent, it's all kind of humbling and overwhelming. We look forward to just get out on that grass. But I had to share with you that moment because that's what I thought about when I found out the news.
Man, of course, I've won Coach of the Year in 2 different conferences. And, you realize when you sit there that you didn't do it by yourself. No. Great coaches and great players and guys like you that worked up under me have went on to be head coaches, man. And, you know how I feel now. You've been coaching long enough when that kid called you at night and coach, what you doing, man? I just want to thank you. Yep. And that's why this game is coached by special people, man. Mm-hmm. By special people. It ain't necessarily always about the money. It's about the opportunity to change people's life. So, I ain't gonna hold you, Coach, man, unless you got something, Campbell.
The only thing that I want to say is when we first talked to Coach, and I asked Coach about that roster and who did he like, he said, Campbell, don't worry about it. You're going to find out at the end of the year. So, you know what, Coach? I found out those names at the end of the year. Who you like, Coach? So, I just want to say how much that you mean to this conference, because this conference was built on great coaches. We know the names. There's no need of me repeating. I don't want to do that. But this conference is built off of great coaches, because the only way we have a great game like this going to be on second, I know this is going to be a great game, is because we have 2 great coaches on both sidelines. We've got a team, like I say, Jackson State, and then we got a SWAC originator, Prairie View A&M, that founded the conference. That's good for the conference from a historical standpoint. So, Coach, again, I'm proud of you. Of course, I'll be rooting for you. I'll be rooting for Jackson State too. So it doesn't matter for me. I just want to see my great coaches coach a great game, and how it plays out, that's all that counts. But, Coach, I'm going to tell you something. We really appreciate you taking the time coming on HBCU Coaches Corner. And, Coach, but I tell you one thing, though, what you got to do, however it happens, if I do see you in Atlanta and you do something that will be historic, I'll just leave it at that. You got to come back on here and sing the whole song, Coach. Okay?
I look forward to that. Right. I'll say this too, real quick, man. I think when you look at this weekend, not to talk about the game, but the people involved in the game, man. Coach Taylor, what he did last year was nothing short of amazing, right? And won Coach of the Year and all the awards and the national championship. And then you come back and we were able to achieve this. Man, both of us played in the SWAC. Both of us coached in the SWAC. Prior to, man, Coach Taylor, I think he might have took my old office as I was leaving TSU when he was coming. And so I think when people talk about what is SWAC and what ain't SWAC, I think the SWAC got it right this week. And my hat goes off to Coach Robinson too, man, because what he did at Alabama State, winning 10 games, was amazing. We got a chance to see them firsthand. Man, that was a well-coached, well-oiled machine. Those guys played really together. And, we came out on the short end of the stick, but to me, he's the Coach of the Year for what he was able to put together. And so I think it's a great time for our conference, a great time for us as Black people, man, to be quite honest. And it should be rocking in Jackson. So whoever out there listening, if you can get to Jackson, get there to rain. It ain't going to rain Saturday. It's going to rain Friday.
There you go.
So we should be ready to go, man. But I appreciate y'all having me as always. And I promise, if we get to that point, I'll sing the song twice.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate that. We appreciate to take the time. And like I say, we congratulate you once again. And I will say this, for all those people, those naysayers, he tried to tell you what he was going to do.
Toast to my man Jackson.
I appreciate y'all.
He was head football coach. Coach of the Year. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you joining us on HBCU Coaches Corner.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Coach, the name of the show is what?
The HBCU Coaches Corner.
The HBCU Coaches Corner. Now, Coach, now let me tell you something. One thing about coaches, you got to have players that you got to coach to get to big games like this, right?
Yes, sir.
You got to have players that are transcendent. You got to have players that, Coach, you know what, that actually might win a Player of the Year award. Those are the type of guys that, you know, when you look back, you know, when Willie won it, you know, he had Musa. Musa was Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? When
Right.
Dion won it, he had Shador. You know what I mean? Player of the Year, things like that.
Right.
But, Coach, I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy that was special to me in my heart because he came to this conference as a freshman. See, that's what I'm used to, Coach. You know, nothing goes to the transfer, you know, kids coming from Power Fives and all that. But I'm talking about my guys that come as a freshman. And, Coach, I'll tell you something. There's a guy that I think we both know that's over there at Alabama State. You know, friend of the show, Eddie Robinson, coach this young man. But I tell you what, Coach, I'm going to make another phone call because this is HBCU Coaches Corner. And I'm just going to see if my nephew is available to come hang out with us. Coach, wait a minute. Coach, look who we got here.
Hey, as Scotty would say, Andrew Buddy.
What's going on?
Andrew Buddy from Alabama State University, SWAC Player of the Year. And Coach, you know what? Let me get this straight. Spring initiative of 2024 Cap Outside. That right?
Spring 25, yes, sir.
Spring 25. There you go. So, Coach, you got your frat brother here. Look at that. The boy showed up to yo. We see him. Boy, done went viral with the shimmy. We see you all over the place, nephew. We see you. Andrew, listen, man, I'm going to tell you something. I taught you. I met you, followed your career. We are so proud of you, everything you've done. I think the biggest thing, your name is Andrew, but the one thing that I would like to say, your also name needs to be overcoming adversity because of what you had to go through to be the SWAC Player of the Year, man. We are proud of you, and it's just amazing to have you on. I know it's a lot of things going on in your life, but we appreciate you coming on HBCU Coaches Corner because we know you've been here before. But I tell you what, nephew, and like I said, I call him nephew because I'm very affectionate of this young man. Tell us about when you found out that you were SWAC Player of the Year, and tell us about overall how you felt about the season, how the season went.
Man, first, just thank y'all for allowing me to be on this show with y'all, and I got to give my glory to God because, man, without him, I wouldn't be here and be in the position I'm in, but so it's really kind of funny because so the day before, y'all know the first team and stuff had came out. So I'm seeing all that. I'm posting my guys. We talking about it. And so I had a brief conversation with Coach Robinson, and we was like, you know, because I think you have to play a certain amount of games to be eligible, like to be in the SWAC first teams and things of that sort. So we was like, man, we just trying to make sure I could even get the award. So I'm in the training room and I'm getting some texts and stuff, but I'm working out real quick. I'm getting some texts talking about some congrats. And I'm like, man, they like a day late, you know? So then one of my other teammates, he walked in, he was like, all right, Player of the Year. I'm like, when that come out? It was like, it just came out today, like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, I couldn't say nothing, but that's God. Like, it ain't me. He just using me.
Right. Well, you know, man, you done an extremely great job. I know you set out the last 4 games, and I know that had to be a little worrisome. Like, hey, man, you know, but you put on an extremely show. I've seen some great ones. I've seen Doug Williams, Jefferson, Street Joe. I've seen Steve McNair coached against him, coached against Willie Totten. Some of the greats in this league, man. And I put your performance right with them. You know, your performance sold tickets, man. And you know, the thing about you is that I seen improvement from you from a freshman to now. You know, at some time when you was freshman, you couldn't hit the beach with a beach ball. But your hard work and knowing who you are and what you are and your family background, big body, man, you put the work in, man. I seen you last spring, and I told these guys, I said, man, this cat is on another level. You're on another level. And that's from all the hard work you do. And most definitely, man, you've earned that most valuable player of this conference, man. And that's saying a lot because there's some great ones come through here. Some
most
great,
definitely.
you know what I mean? and you take that, and I know your future is bright. Keep doing what you're doing. The man got, I always ask him how's them grades. He's got about 4 A's and a
Oh, come
couple of
on,
B's,
man.
man. So he's not only just doing it on the football field, he's doing it off the football field, and
Yes, sir.
he's the epitome of a leader of this conference, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And thank you for that. Thank you for that magnificent show, man. I mean, what, 3 and 4 and 5 touchdowns in one game, and your completion rate at 70%, Bishop. 70%. That's unusual numbers at 70%.
Had to raise the standard, Mr. Cole. Had to.
Now, Andrew, I want to talk about your season and overall your team success because, as you said, in the back half of the season, but this was one of the most historic seasons for Alabama State, winning 10 games, going 10-2, really, playing every game tough. How overall your success was also part of team success?
Oh, it wouldn't be nothing without the team just because first starting off with my O-line, had a great O-line up front. We had from left to right, we had Big Cam Smith. We had Desmond Penn. We had Jeremiah Frazier. And then we also had Elijah Baker. He stepped in a lot at our tackle. He was a previously walk-on. And then we really had a couple guys rotating at that guard. We had Tatum, we had Michael Moore. So it was, man, I couldn't do nothing without them guys up front. Then had a great running back room, great receiver room. So it was a lot of guys around me that most definitely played a big factor in this. And then our defense, I mean, shoot, we got a well-coached ball team over there, and we got some playmakers over there that got us some key plays when we really needed it. So I would say I wouldn't get none of my individual success without the team because y'all know how it goes, and that it really plays a factor, especially like on the first teams and stuff like that. So we had 11 overall first and second team. So I believe it was like a record-breaking number. So that speaks for itself right there.
Yeah. Those numbers, what y'all average 40 points a game?
Yes, sir. It might be 42.
Oh, yeah. Like, Coach, wait a minute now. That offense averaged 42.4 points a game that led the SWAC.
Yeah.
And the highest scoring averages of all time in the SWAC.
And look here, and add Division I teams too. They put 40 on them Division I teams too. So, man, that was a great outcome, man. I mean, again, you've done something nobody or no one has done, So I commend you on that. You are the SWAC Player of the Year, man. And I toast to that.
Now,
I appreciate it.
Andrew, I want to say one thing before we let you get out of here.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I'm most proud of in this conference, and I've been around a long time, Coach Cole been around, is about big games. And I think you and the Alabama State team and the Jackson State team giving us a game of the year that matched up to because in SWAC, we've had some game of the years. Now, I'm just trying to tell you, that stadium, Jerry Rice and Willie Totten and those guys played that stadium in front of 63,000. And to see that game and the coaches coach and big play. Yeah, listen, Jacoby Morgan, remember, all making big plays after big play. How did it feel to play in a game like that where you knew that, first of all, y'all the road team, you got 45,000 on your neck, but you keep making play after play? How did it feel to play in a type of game like that in the SWAC?
It was amazing football atmosphere. Anybody that loves the game, they would have been like, this the type of game that I want to go to. But I wouldn't say I would put any more importance than just the game before. I mean, obviously, that was probably the biggest game of the year just based off of everything that was on the line. Great team that we were playing on the opposite side in Jackson State, Coach Taylor and them. They had athletes just as well as we did. So it was going to come down to, like y'all seen, the final wire, literally the final second. But, man, it was amazing to be out there. Fans had that thing rocking. Best believe they was a rocking with Bama State over there. But we had our section going on, too. So it was an awesome football atmosphere. Anybody that's coming into the conference or knows about the conference, that most definitely was one of those higher games.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Andrew, I'm going to ask you a last question, and we'll get you out of here because I think a lot of people, I'm not going to ask the question that you think I'm going to ask. A lot of people just want to know how is your health? How are you feeling? Are you going to be ready to go for next year? I know they kind of was being very careful to just make sure your future, no matter what, is that. So how are you feeling? Is everything going to be good? You're going to be able to start fresh next year?
Yes, sir. Most definitely, man. I'm getting better every day and just really gaining and maintaining. Gonna just keep pressing forward. Most definitely gonna be ready for the 2026 football season. Man, it's gonna be real. It's something to really look forward to. It's gonna be a fun one, and y'all can most definitely expect me to be out there 100%. Really, probably shoot in the next couple weeks.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm expecting you to be the back-to-back SWAC Conference Player of the Year. How about that? And then when you do that, you come back on here with us on HBCU Coaches Corner. How about that?
Okay. Well,
We could do that.
I got a couple because we got some other special guests. Andrew Body, you played against both of these football teams.
Yes, sir.
You give us what you think about Jackson State, and then we'll let you see what you think about Prairie View. What's your take? This is championship night.
Right,
Okay.
right.
This is analysis body.
So I'll most definitely say from the Jackson State side, they got some guys up front that boxes they got some playmakers in the box, some guys that's gonna try to cause some havoc. And then the secondary, I'm not gonna say they kind of dependent on the front seven, but they play off each other. So it's gonna be, I really think it's gonna not necessarily be more of a defensive game, but I think it's gonna be more of a defensive game because I'm not sure if y'all kind of kept up with Prairie View. But they also, I believe, they're allowing the least amount of points and yards per game. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how this game plays out. PV, they got some pretty good DBs back there that can play. Box is solid. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a defensive game. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But then I can't shortchange the offense either though. So it's gonna be real. I'm expecting a great game. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I'm just preparing you so when your football career over, whenever that is, I know you'll be ready to come in and coach it. You got to love this game, man, the way you play.
Yes, sir. Oh, this a given. This the easy part.
So Andrew, that was the question in the chat. Okay, a couple things. What is your major? Just to, for letting people know, what is your major?
So I'm majoring in my concentration is business, and then I got a minor in sociology.
Okay. So like I say, not only when you might coach it, you might just go ahead and own the team. Then that's what.
Oh, that's eventually for sure. For sure, I'm gonna have a team somewhere.
Okay. Well, Coach, listen. Do you have anything for our SWAC Player of the Year? Because, like I say, I'm good. I'm just proud of the young man. He's already gave us analysis and things like that. We know, like I say, he's still got a big week ahead of him. Andrew, let me ask you a question. Do you? Again, I don't know. Does the player? Do you guys have to come to the Celebration Bowl? Do they honor you guys at the game? I know sometimes I see that, or does it work like that?
I don't believe so. Okay. I know for like other awards, kind of like the other award they had me up for was the Walter Payton. I think they do something for that, but I don't believe they do it for just like the SWAC first team and player of the year. No, sir. I think they just send that through the mail.
Okay. Well, you know what? We just listen because the commissioner watches us. That's my homework. Listen, man, commissioner, we got to do this thing big. We got to have the offensive, defensive players of the year. I think that would be a good look. And coach, you know what? Then what they could do, they could bring all the offensive, defensive players of the year back. You know what I mean? Maybe have a ceremony. I think that'll be really good, coach. What you think about that?
Man, I think it's always great, man. I'm a historian. You are too, coach. That's why we're doing this show, man. If you don't remember the past, man, you don't know the future. And a lot of times when we come on and somebody says, "Oh, they done that for the first time," what me and you say, "Man, that's been done." I know Willie Todd threw 8 touchdowns in one game. Don't nobody know that unless you was there and going through them days and them times. So I think that would be great to bring some of the old players back, and kind of keep that bond going. And, and we'll have another conversation about, hearing the SWAC commissioner saying that, our numbers and how good the conference done this year.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, listen, we want to thank you once again. We appreciate you taking the time because we know people come on HBCU Coaches Corner because they always want to make news. And you did make news because you already let them know you're going to come back to try to be SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. So we'll leave it, and we'll leave it with that. You know what I'm saying? That's the answer we're going to give everybody. That sound pretty good?
Yes, sir.
All right, Andrew.
And you know I got
to
shout out to your dad and your mother.
Absolutely.
I would shout out the bodies,
Gotta give
man.
a shout out to your dad and your mother, man. Yeah, to the bodies.
That's my rocks
and
right
your,
there. They
to your
didn't. Right.
Yeah, to your
shout
uncle,
out cousin.
your uncle.
Shout out to the whole bodies, man. They always take care and look out. That couldn't do it without them. Couldn't be here without them for real.
Good deal.
That's it.
Andrew, thank you once again. Right. We appreciate you joining us always on the HBCU Coaches Corner.
Thank y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Absolutely. Andrew Body, my nephew. Coach, let me tell you something what's so great about this, and before we move on. The great thing about this conference is the players, men and women that have played in this conference, that have always represented their schools at a very high level. And the thing about it, you think about his coach, Eddie Robinson, who was the defensive player of the year, but was also an academic All-American and went on to a illustrious pro career, not coming back. You can see that same thing in the Andrew Body. You know what I mean? That, you know, he does what he does, you know, and, you know, because he represents the university, he represents the conference well, he represents his family so well. And this is the thing, you know, Coach, we always want to show the negative, you know what I mean? Showing the kids at Georgia racing cars and wrecking cars and all that stuff. But over here in the SWAC, we know what we're supposed to be doing. That's why I'm proud of these young men, because when they play for us, they play for us. Absolutely. Now, Coach, you know, we got to keep this thing rolling. Now, Coach, you know, this show is actually to break down the SWAC championship game. Now, Coach, here's the thing about this now. You know, I love all my people that do the podcast out there. You know what I mean? We got real, you know, Scotty and Perry, some smart young brothers. You know what I'm saying? Got those guys over the HBCU Nightly, Josh and BJ, really smart. You got Wild Wayne. Man, you got all types of people out there that's going to talk about this game. But, Coach, I'm going to tell you what, though. They not going to have no coach that's actually coaching this game. I'll tell you that. Hey, we're going to have some people that have actually coached in this game, knows what it is to win this game, because only on the HBCU Coaches Corner will you get the real behind the scenes on how to prepare, how a Coach of the Year can win it, how a back-to-back championship can win it. So, Coach, you know what? I'm going to bring our illustrious all-star roundtable. And, Coach, you know what? I'm going to start with somebody that's very close to you that you might know.
Yeah.
Look who we got here, Coach. Defensive coordinator from Clark University. I think that's your big brother, Coach L.C. Cole. That's your brother there, Coach?
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Let me tell you something, and of course the other coaches coming on, all the coaches. We specifically brought in championship coaches, not no guys that think what the championship seemed like. And either they was they were championship coach and on the championship team. You know, we got another guest coming in, but this guy here,
you know, Eddie Robinson
Award winner, Tank Young Award winner, MVP of Coach of the Year, OVC, first Black African American coach to win PWI, not one time, twice, went 21-1 in OVC. Beat Pete Richardson, you name him. He beat them all. Florida A&M. I can't say enough about him, man. I can't say enough. But championship coach, he's been down this week, you know, many times, man. And, you know, welcome, big bro. You know, and I had to send a shout out to James Woody. He couldn't make it tonight, but he did call, man. He had a special thing that he had to make sure he take care of. And I wish him well, you know, and hopefully everything is okay.
But, Coach, listen, this HBCU Coaches Corner, Coach. We got coaches all over the place. So, Coach, I'm gonna bring up the next coach, because this coach also knows about championships, played for championships and things like that. Actually knows a little bit about one of the schools that play. You know what, Coach? Listen, that's Coach Northern right there, Coach. That's Coach Northern right there, Coach.
Yeah. Hey, look, I coached him, Coach. Look, it was inedible. You talking about a cerebral player? You know, and when me and Coach Richardson brought our staff in, man, this guy was a starter off the rip. He was a cerebral player. He knew what everybody. Hey, he could go on the offensive side of the ball and know what that. He lived in Coach Yoshida's office, which was across from mine. It's no. secret that he would be a coach, and not just a coach. He's a championship coach, a championship player. He played on the only HBCU team, and I don't know if he know that, they played on January 1st in Atlanta after the Peach Bowl. Southern University's own Heishma Northern.
And Coach, who did y'all happen to play in that game? Do you remember who y'all played?
Oh, South Carolina State. I want to say we shut them out 11-0.
Because they going back to Atlanta, so they kind of, so you guys kind of know what this looks like. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, before we get started, can I say a couple things? See, Coach, when he moved to Baton Rouge, I was one of the guys that helped him move into his apartment. I think it was me and Fred Bailey and one other wide receiver that helped him move to his apartment. Look, one thing I'm going to always tell this story. When we played, I was on the staff at Grambling. We played Alabama State in Montgomery. We turned the ball over on offense, and one of Alabama State offensive linemen asked our defensive end, say, "Hey, man, you on a field goal block or extra point?" And he said, "Why?" He said, "Because we about to score a touchdown." Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you guys run a triple reverse for a touchdown?
Triple reverse.
Hey, man, we looking at it. We say, "Oh, reverse again." Touchdown. So that's my Johnny Cole story right there. But look, I was blessed to be around some good coaches at an early age, and they just continue to trend, no, honestly.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it. But, you know, like I say, listen now, Coach, I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes you got to have a guy recently that knows what it looks like to play in the championship, coaching the championship game. So I had to make another phone call. Coach, you know, you got your boys. I had to call my boys. So you know what? Listen, I'm going to bring to state. That's Coach Fred. Wait a minute. That's Coach Fred with the championship ring, Coach.
He got his ring. You're going to make me run to the room and get my ring.
Yeah, Coach.
Coach Leroy Frederick. Coach, all right, now, Coach, those are some rings. Coach, can you tell us what those rings are for, if you don't mind just letting us know real quick?
Yeah, this is my Michael Jordan pose, but you know, he got that pose with all his rings. But 14, 17, 18, and East ring. So had a chance, an opportunity, was blessed to play in 7 straight championship games to go to the conference championship. So 1-3, blessed to say that. And I was inspired when I seen Coach's background. I was like, let me run and go get these real quick.
Hey, listen. There is nobody. Listen, I'm just gonna say this, and it's an honor to have all you great men, great black coaches. Because I want to be clear here. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand how hard it is for you all to do what you do, but you make it real easy. But I'm gonna tell you this: it is an honor, because the one thing, and guys, you know, you're gonna see it all week. People just gonna have analysis, but coaches, you guys know there's a difference when you have coached in these games to break it down than somebody like me that just watch it and say, now I'm gonna give my opinion, of course, but I'm gonna let you all do the talking about this game. Now, here's the thing that I want to just kind of break down with the SWAC. The SWAC started the SWAC championship game in 1999. And you know what? And that's what's so funny about that. In 1999, you guys know who played in that game. It was Jackson State and Southern, and it was one of the most tremendous games. Mm-hmm. Won on the last play. And to see now, basically, to come 25 years forward, to see how big this game is, and to move it to now, not to a neutral field, but to a home field, I think that has made the game even bigger and better. And also, it raises the stakes, because as you see, especially, and I'll say it in the West, but in the East, if you lose one game, you out the race. So every game matters because of what it means to host that home game and what it does for your fans and things like that. So, you guys, I want to just kind of, and Coach, you know, I'll let you start it off of how you want to go, and then I'll kind of add into it. So we've got two great teams. We've got Prairie View A&M from the West, the West champions, versus the defending SWAC and defending national champions, the Jackson State Tigers. The game will be played in Jackson, Mississippi. Coach Cole, how do you want to start this conversation off? And we'll go around the horn.
I like to start just first of all saying that and these guys appreciate it, because Fred just finished, Heist finished maybe 5 years ago. I think this is the best matchup it's been in a long, long time, at least the last 5 years. You know, and usually the West gonna come out and roll over. The East gonna come out and roll over the West. You know, I think this is a great matchup. All the numbers are real close in that, you two guys, Fred and of course Heist, you guys played them in LC. First year, LC, you're going into your championship. Of course, you've been down this road again. What are you thinking as a head coach?
Well, I would just say, you kind of like, you start all over. So you kind of forget about how you got there. Those wins are gone. And now you kind of like starting your season over almost for next year, getting yourself prepared. And, you spend a lot of time second guess yourself a little bit sometimes when you get ready to go into a championship game because you really don't know, what to expect. But what you try to do is put emphasis on your guys, man, that, hey, this is a whole new ball game. Now, we ain't thinking about the past and present. Now we got to think about what we're getting prepared for to get ready to go into this game.
Yeah. Heist, I'm going to give you a two-part question because you came through this game as a player and a coach. I'm going to take you back some years, man, as a player coming to this game after y'all won we won the championship. What was your mindset in coming to this game? Because, Southern, it was the first Southern has won in a long time. So you was a part of the Pete Richardson trend.
So the actual championship game started a couple years after I finished. We went to the Heritage Bowl back then is what they called it. So, but just from the player's perspective, I think the biggest thing is just realize like this may be the last time you ever put your pads on for some of those guys. If you're a senior, just the different things that go into it. Am I ready for all the, the adjustments that may need to go on? Do I have all my checks down pat? All that type of stuff is my communication up the part. From a coaching standpoint, I remember going into it 3 times at Grambling, 1 time at Prairie View. You have your call sheet, but I think one of the things we wrote down way more adjustments on that call sheet than we would a normal game plan because you went into it with this is our strength, but I may save actual a diagram of a blitz that we may practice a little bit that we may have to go to. So we had more adjustments for this game than we would any other game for the season, I would say.
Yeah. Fred, you went into 2 games, 2 SWAC championships, you won them. What was the difference between the 2 SWAC championships y'all won and then also going into the national championship and unfortunately not coming out on the winning side? Was there a difference of preparation? Did you see the difference after you was able to observe both times that you won it and then go to the national championship and won and then finish it?
Well, I'll go on record and say the 3 that I won, we beat Southern all 3 times. The 2 that I lost, we lost to that bad man Grambling had playing quarterback, Kincaid. And, the first one going into that Southern game, we knew that we had to have our special teams. We felt like everything else was good. Special teams had to be the key because Southern had that bad man, Willie Quinn. And if he touched it anywhere on the field, he could go. So we were really, Coach Hobson put a lot of emphasis that week on special teams, the kicking game, making sure we knew where he was and, the whole 9. And then the other 2 versus Skelton, we wanted to make sure that we didn't let him get cooking because those Southern teams went as he went. So, we didn't want to do too much, but, they all had it. It's hard to beat a team twice. And we played them regular season, and then here we go in the championship game. And I'll add for context, we were the first ones to have the championship game on campus because that year UAB had a phenomenal season and we couldn't have it there. Whatnot. And so we had the better record. So we were able to host it on campus, which added a whole nother layer because now people are showing up on campus on Wednesday and you got to make sure you keep your kids focused. So that was our, the focus on all those games. And then the 2 we lost versus Grambling, let's try to corral Kincaid and then we'll go from there. And then when we got to the national championship game, was keeping those guys hungry because we were really invested in those games versus Southern. And when you get there, it's a sense of relief, but we got one more to go, guys, and we just couldn't finish the deal versus those really good A&T teams.
Yeah. One thing with T.C. Taylor and Tremaine coming in this game, and LC, you can answer this first question with Tremaine being a new coach, and that's one of the things that you do. You turn programs around. What are some of the things that you think that he did, and what are the things you think that's going through his head? Because you've done the same thing.
Well, I think he's done a good job of coming through coaching, and then, like you say, through his predecessors, the guys who he had worked before. I think he's done a good job of listening to them and kind of like staying with the game plan a little bit there. And I kind of watched him in Valdosta. I watched a film of Valdosta because we played Valdosta this year. And I seen how sound his team was defensively. They didn't make a lot of mistakes and everything. They kind of played in the frame of what they all was about, offense and defense. And I think the only reason I would be favoring Prairie View probably this game a little bit here, because sometimes when you've been there before and you don't want a little bit before, and then you're kind of looking at Prairie View a little bit different, I think that kind of like, to me, is probably giving Prairie View the edge a little bit there. I just think they might be a little bit more hungry than Jackson State.
Heist, being a player in the SWAC, baby, playing Jackson State. Prairie View is coming up there, man. They went up there the last time, man, and peed all on the field, man. That sonic boom coming out. Y'all was there. You were there as a player and as a coach, man. How much do you think the mystique of playing in Memorial Stadium against the sonic boom and T.C. Taylor?
Hey, man, I have some great memories, and I always tell people I would rank a great Jackson State crowd versus any environment, probably except the Bayou Classic, in terms of now it's because of the dome. But I remember my sophomore year, my senior year, we played in Jackson, and we were very good both times. I remember the game where when every group, the running backs, D-line, O-line came out, it was like each side tried to out-cheer each other. I also remember my senior year, we play in Jackson, and it's a very tight game, and it's like they played the show the whole fourth quarter. It would get low, and then it'll crank back up. I'm getting chill bumps talking about it right now, but it would get low and crank back up. I was also at the game where the fifth quarter went. We dressed and showered on the bus, and both teams still going at it. So, look, my son is a freshman at Prairie View. I paid for that joker to ride the bus to experience this game. But it's going to be a great environment. You can't beat it. It's second to none. I'll put it to you like that.
Yeah. Fred, the Soul Bowl, baby. The Soul Bowl. You know what to expect. Can Prairie View, new coach, new players, new fans, are they ready for that Jackson State sonic boom and that 40,000 gonna show up? And will it be a problem in the game?
I think early on, I've watched Coach Jackson throughout the year. I think he'll have that as the message. But until those guys run out there and everybody goes crazy at the start of the game, it's really going to be, can he get those guys to settle in and not have all that extra stuff, not giving up stuff cheap as far as, penalties and things like that. It's tough. Our last game there, big rival, we were all over the place. And then once we finally settled down, we were able to make it a game. But in the beginning, we had a little rough time getting our kids to settle down, get away from the rivalry, just play football. A lot of little cheap fouls here and there. And once we settled down, it was a game. So he's got to be able to get his guys settled in quickly. Yeah. Because, again, I don't know what the numbers are exactly. They say sometimes they have 40,000 in there. Sometimes they say they have 50,000 in there. I don't know. But the ones they have in there, going to go crazy, and that's going to start from pregame when the band marches in and those pom-poms get to shaking. Hopefully their fan base holds down the other side of the stadium as well.
But if not, you don't want that takeover to happen. That can't happen. So he's got to get his kids settled in quick.
Yeah.
Coach, let me jump in here real quick. Let me jump in because I want to make sure we keep things balanced. Coach Fred, I want to ask you, you've seen, and because we're going to swing this back around. We kind of talked a little bit about the environment, but I want to talk about the actual teams and things like that. So, Coach Fred, I'm going to start with you, and then Coach Northern, I'll come to you. Coach Fred, tell people what, watching this game, the Jackson State Tigers, players that they should know about. Tell them about what you think about with Terrenzo Quinn and his defense, what T.C. Taylor offense are going to do against Prairie View, and some of the players that we need to watch that you feel for Jackson State to be successful for them to win.
Player of the year, defensive player of the year. Prairie View's got to know where he is. They've got to be able to contain him and not let him get off. And then they got the bad man in the middle.
Player of the year. Just want to get that name, Quincy Ivory. Okay.
Right. I don't want tampering to go on.
No problem. I'll do that. Y'all do that for you. No problem. Absolutely.
So I just go numbers, but zero in the middle. He's tough to move, and they have a way of taking over the game. And one thing I'll say about my friend Quinn is, you can believe he's in there right now looking for something that he can find that is going to give him a tip one way or another, and he's going to attack. Quinn ain't the one to sit back and just kind of like let the game come to him. No, he's going to take the game to you. And, the big thing for, PV, I think, is controlling that box. If they can control that box, that puts pressure on what I think is the weakest part of Jackson's defense, which is the secondary.
Now, Coach Northern, listen, you do a great show every Sunday out there with my nephew, P. A lot of people don't know about Prairie View. You know what I mean? This is one of those teams that, again, out there in Texas, and people, we kind of hear that they're good and things like that, and we don't see them play a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of people, of course, everybody's going to watch Jackson State. They're going to watch Southern. People were excited about Andrew Bott. But this was a team, when you started to watch them, that you knew was a lot of talent. Kind of tell the people that are new to the Prairie View, this edition of Prairie View Panthers, who we need to be looking for and what you've seen from the defensive coach and Tremaine Jackson on the offensive side.
Well, I'll go the front. A lot of people think because they have a three-man front, the ball can be ran on them easy. But when you have big 99 Elijah Warren sitting in the middle, both A-gaps are basically null and void sometimes. Then the way they play the defensive tackles in those fours, you think you can get a B-gap run off, but they may be leaning B-gap, and if you try something funny, they trigger real fast off the edge. They outside linebackers, once they see run, they hitting it thick, keeping everything inside, or if coach want them to spill, they spill very well. And you don't know which one of those three safeties are coming down the way they play their defense. So I really like the way they play. The middle linebacker, I think, is a very smart player. You could tell he's in tune with what's going on, but they play very fast. And the first time I saw him in the spring, this defense will remind people when Grambling was winning those championships, I said it before, it's almost the same defense, and it's going to give you problems. It's almost like playing an option on offense because you don't see it very often. You can't use 4-2-5 rules. You can't use 3-4 rules to block it. You have to come up with something different to block those guys. And that's something I think that is surprising because it's different how fast those guys play.
Yeah.
Coach, look, one of the things that you talked about that, and I like what you said, we've seen Jackson State, that big, dominant offensive line, that rushing attack, 3 running backs in the game running for 100 yards. Where do you see that matchup of Jackson State's huge, and I'm talking about several players on all conference team, on the all conference team versus Prairie View, who I know they're very upset, didn't have a lot of players, but still had the number 1 ranked defense. How do you see that matchup, Jackson State's offensive line versus Prairie View's defensive line? You talked about the scheme, but individual matchup.
So this one of the things, you can get caught up in the all conference teams, but this one thing, so I'm going to say when I was playing, we might play, when we were real good on defense, we might play 30 to 35 plays a game, where the guys at Valley might be playing 80 plays. So they linebacker finishing with 15 tackles a game, where I'll start Mike linebacker or me playing safety, I might finish the game with 6 tackles. So the numbers can get distorted, and you may think one guy is better than another because of how many tackles a guy makes. But I tell you what, and I think it's going to – both teams run game wise, are going to have to find a way to exploit the box, whether it's a double eagle, the double eagle that Jackson State likes to run, or when Prairie View wants to bring one guy off the edge or bring one of those safeties down in the box. You got to be able to exploit it in the run game. And when pressure comes, I think that's going to be the key. Who can spring one versus pressure? And then what screen may pop, a quick pass may pop, a throw 2 yards or at the line of scrimmage may turn into a touchdown. I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things I'm going to add in there is I always just look at Prairie View a little bit too, because I know Tremaine's a new coach, but you got to remember he brought 19 or 20 guys from Valdosta that played in the national championship game. So you're bringing the team in. You might think they're unexperienced, but they've been there before and they know what it takes to win. So that's why it's going to be a good game. Jackson State got great players. Don't be fooled. They got some great players too. They just, nobody's really talking about it. They brought in 19 to 20 transfers from Valdosta.
I was going to ask you, LC, because you did go back-to-back championships in your years. How much does an inexperienced PV versus a defending champ, Jackson State, in your experience and in watching these two teams, how much does that play a role of giving Jackson State the defending championships? Or what was once you did it back to back, what did you see in your team and playing a team that just getting there? Was it a difference, or it was just as hard as winning the first one?
I think it was hard winning the first one. The second one kind of comes easy. I mean, that's what it was for us at Tennessee State, because we had to build and put it together and put great players to play. And they was learning how to play. And then once we got them to that point, kids get confidence. And then we came back the next year and we started winning. It was almost kind of like we almost didn't really have to coach, because the kids started coaching themselves and they know what the expectation was for us to go back again. And that's what they did. I mean, they executed. They did the right things. You go places, you didn't get any phone calls that your kid in trouble doing something. They were doing everything perfect. Sometimes that's scary when you see a team that's moving like that and you're a coach and you like, man, I ain't got to punish nobody, or everybody's on the bus on time, or everything's just going right. And you have to be saying, man, something just ain't right. But that's just what it was. Second year when we went 11-0.
Y'all back-to-back champs at Alcorn State. Tell the experience and then kind of make it as if, what's going on with, the game we got coming this weekend.
Well, I think and I'll go from Jackson State side, I think Coach Taylor is fighting the we just got to show up bug with his team. Like, they've got to understand that this is the number one defense and they are the number three offense. So this is a good team coming in here. We can't just show up. And then, from the other side, from the coach of the year standpoint, he's got to guard against his kids coming in and something going wrong early and being like, okay, this is why these guys are number one, and kind of just letting them letting them fall off in a funk. This is a perfect storm when you pull up the numbers. And I know numbers don't make the game. You got to play. But I don't know if we've ever had a game where you have the number 2 offense and the number 3 offense, and then you have the number 1 defense and the number 2 defense. Something's got to give, right? And, I think we talked about it on the last show. Jackson has a couple kids that can take that thing 80 yards. Yeah. And that's the one thing that cannot happen early for PV. So for us going into that, you want to guard against. So we knew Kincaid when we played Grambling. We knew he was the guy. They had 2 receivers off that team that got drafted as well. But we knew that he ran around and he made plays. We knew that. So we tried to put the brakes on him. Southern going back to back versus those guys. We knew Skelton was the driver. If we could contain him and put him in a situation to do something that he didn't want to do, which was kind of throw the ball, make them get in 3rd and long behind the chains, would be okay. But that second one, we had to make sure that our kids understood that they're not coming here just to play. They're coming here to win. They're coming here to win. They're coming here to beat you. So we got to have a laser focus. And, so going back to back, unlike Big Brother Cole, for me, I feel like that second one was tougher than that first one. Only because at this point now we're feeling ourselves and we're playing a team we beat in the year. We beat them last year. We got a 4-game win streak. We got to have a problem where we can kind of bring them back to earth. And like Coach said, unfortunately, we didn't have those issues that week. Somebody missing curfew and all that, where Coach Matt could go crazy and put them on the line and bring everybody back to, earth. It was one of those things where, okay, they're focused. This is uneasy. Our kids aren't those type of kids. But, that second one for us, I felt was a lot tougher than that first one when you talk about going back to back.
Heist, defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at both defenses, both of them are great. Where do you think Prairie View is strong at or weak, and weak, because both of them got spots, and the same thing on the Jackson State side?
I think the strengths of both of them, they can definitely shut down the running game in a variety of different ways. Both of them can play base and stop you. Both of them can bring pressure. Like Coach said earlier, I do think Jackson's safeties may give up big plays here and there in the passing game. Every now and then, a corner from Prairie View may give up a big play when they get locked up, but you don't see that very often. But I think that's going to be something that can be exploited by both of them. But both of them going to be able to stop the run. Both of them can bring a variety of different pressures. I think Prairie View's pressures are a little bit harder to pick up because it's so different. Jackson, sometimes when you see him, it almost look like old school Jackson, Bear, we come and get you. You better get rid of the ball before we get to your quarterback. One of those type of deals. So it's some pluses. Both of them are real good. But like I say, it can be some exploitation at a couple spots on both teams.
What makes this a great, great game is T.C. Taylor, offensive guy, Coach Jackson, a defensive guy. On the show, we got 3 defensive guys with a little bit of offense with Coach Fred. Started LC winning the championship game. You're speaking to Jackson State and Prairie View. What are some of the things that you think should stand out or is important in a championship game?
I don't know. I'll just say one thing. I'm go with Coach Fred. When you talk about fan base, Jackson State is the best by none. Not taking anything away from Southern, but that Jackson State and that Sonic Boom and them fans, man, that's going to be one of the edges too. I think that's a difference maker right there.
Yeah. Heist, what you think?
Look, man, like I said, I love the environment. Looking forward to it. I think the subtleness that might cause some problems, or the biggest thing to look out for, is going back to the third down percentage for both teams and the completion percentage, not the yards, just being able to complete a pass. And both of them got some frisbee catches out there. And if you make a mistake, the fight zone going to be playing on both sides of the ball. Both teams have receiving cores that's better than you think they are. But because both teams run the ball so well, you might not get to see how good the receivers are. And I'll leave it at that.
Fred, I'm going to say one name is going to be a difference maker in this game. Either they're going to slow him down or he going to make a difference. Wide receiver, Renberg. What's your take?
He's gonna make a difference. If they can get the ball to him, and he gets in space, because he don't need but that much, and he can go that way really fast. And then the other thing, Coach, Mr. Campbell, the panel, I don't think nobody's really talking about it. Who are they gonna play at quarterback in Jackson?
Yeah,
Coach, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Because I was getting ready to transition. So just because this is a perfect segue to that. So one of the most important things in any championship game, and Mr. Peters, and again, people heard me say that. I said for Prairie View to win, he got to play at all SWAC level. So I want to talk about Coach Fred. Let's talk about, this, Coach, that's why we got you here. But I'm going to tell you, I'll give you my opinion about it after you guys speak on it. I'll tell you the reason why I said that. Coach Fred, talk about, so we've heard that possibly Jacoby Morgan, 15, as you would say, is coming back. Lockhart has played. Talk about what those two players, what you see for those two players, and then talk about Cam Peters. And then, Coach North, I want you to do the same on the other side. And please, tell us a little bit more about Cam Peters, because you've seen this. A lot of us have seen him in and out, and now he's caught his stride. So, Coach, let's talk, because I think this is really the key of the game right here. Who's going to be playing quarterback and the quarterback play? Coach, talk about the Jackson State quarterbacks and then Cam Peters.
So the senior 15, he's their leader. They believe in him, and he makes them go. But if he's not 100%, it's going to be problems. So when he took over a year ago, is when they kind of took off. Well, actually 2 years ago, when he took over for the one kid, and then he went down versus us, and we were able to kind of take the game over. But he's gotten so much better in the pass game, and then he's always a threat with his feet. And, just being that leader, and everybody on here knows that when the other 99 guys on that team believe in that one guy, things just happen different. But I think, and that's something Coach Taylor's going to have to deal with. I think if he's not 100%, I think the young kid, 11, has shown enough to be able to keep it in the middle of the road. And then they've got a run game. They've got a 1,000-yard rusher. So the young kid doesn't have to do too much. He just can't fumble the victory snap in that situation for his team. But 11 can throw it. He can do enough with his feet, but PV can confuse him. He's young, no doubt about it. And they can kind of, get to him because they can rush the passer. But if 15 is not 100%, you've got to play 11, and then you've got to put him in a situation to where he doesn't wreck the car. He just keeps you in the middle of the street. But I think that position for them is going to be the difference in the game, just because PV, when we played them, they had a 2-quarterback system going on. I think they kind of tailed that off just a little bit, and they've kind of went with a better passer. But they also have a weapon that's being underestimated in this game, and that's the tight end that we talked about a couple shows ago. And if you don't know where he is, that's one of their favorite targets. They put him in the middle. He's a big kid, 6'6" or so, and he's pretty good with the ball once he gets it. So it's going to be whoever can take away whatever the other one likes to do best. But 15, if he's not 100%, I don't know if Coach Taylor does himself any favors by playing him over the young kid. And then, everybody here knows you don't want to put the young kid in a situation where 15 starts and it's not going so good, and then you have to put 11 in, and now he's feeling pressure like he's got to bring you back or do something spectacular. That can get him in trouble. So, Coach Taylor's been the coach of the year. He's a lot better coach than me, so I'm sure he already has that lined up with what he wants to do. I'm really impressed with the fact that they've been able to keep it close to the vest as who's going to be starting that. But to me, that's the thing. Nobody's talking about who's going to be playing quarterback. So those are the two keys for me on that deal.
I got report that he is taking snaps. Jacoby is taking snaps. He's don't know where if he's full throttle or not, but I know he's practicing in uniform.
Northern, on your side, what do you see from the Jackson State quarterbacks, what you've seen them, and tell us about, because again, give us a little bit more in depth about Cam Peters and what kind of quarterback he is.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with Coach, but a little bit I'm going to say I disagree on the Jackson situation. I may feel like it's a little bit better if the older kid can protect himself to start him. Let the younger guys see what Coach is seeing. If he has to go in, he can see, okay, here may be some spots, because the further you are away from it, the slower it gets. So that's why I say maybe start the older kid, then bring in a younger kid that maybe sees some things. But I agree with Coach for the most part. Start the guy that's been playing. Cam started off, I would say, a little bit up and down. He is more athletic than people think he is. He had the one bad game that probably won't happen again. He had a ball slip out of his hand. A ball gets slipped by tipped by 2 or 3 people. He had a ball that should have been a pass interference call on the play that he threw deep. Didn't get the penalty. It turned into an interception. But, you know, people thinking that he has to play at this miraculous level, it's almost the same thing. When you got doggone the freshman of the year and McDowell and I want to say 35, you know, it's some guys that you can say, here, let's go get these couple of yards, and then their screen game is good. The short game is good. The deep ball can be a little bit better, but when you can throw those screens out there and turn them into 7 yards of play, and you got Jones, and I think a lot of people sort of get slipped up on the other H-backs. Jones, to me, is a tight end. Those other kids are more fullback type bodies, and, man, them jokers can catch. So I think it's going to be a good battle of back and forth, mixing in some quarterback runs, some short passes, and feed those running backs. Oh, and you got the wide receiver on the power sweep, power read game that's pretty doggone good for, I think both teams get their playmakers the ball in different ways. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. That's why I say pass completion percentage more than pass yardage.
Yeah. Well, look, that's my specialty. Coach Campbell jumped the gun on me, but that's my specialty, the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
Coach, I had to set it up for you. So now you can be the grand wizard and break it off. See, Coach, listen. See, Coach, listen. I am, listen. See, we got an all-star cast. I'm like Kurt Rambis. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the 5th guy on it. You know what I'm saying? We got all y'all the all-stars. I got to make sure we keep it moving, Coach. Look, come on, man. Come on, Magic. Come on, man. It's your turn.
I like that Kurt Rambis. I like that. I'm a Laker. I know what you mean. I get it.
First of all, I know I'm going to piss some people off because everybody think I'm a Prairie View game. Don't count out Cameron Peterson. He's thrown more yards than they have. His completion rate is 63%. He's peaking at the right time. He's a general of that game. All he has to do is don't go in there and try to win it himself. That's the first and foremost thing that you tell a quarterback to do. Don't try to win yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, if you win the game, you're going to be the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Cam controls the game, don't get shook up by the rush, don't panic. Hopefully, again, that comes down to the play calling as well to help slow that down. Because I was able to see Jackson State against Grambling, and they slowed down in the second half, that pass rush. I seen the Jacoby. Again, he's been there before. He's been in the big game. He played a hell of a game in the championship game, in the national championship game, but he didn't play so well in the SWAC championship game. So he's coming in. He's limping. Again, it comes down to the play calling where he don't get really involved in being able to put pressure on him because he's really not a guy that likes to get out of the pocket. But it seems that this Lockhart kid has stepped in and pretty much have done some of the same things that Jacoby has done. So he's not that far off. I like what both of you guys said about who you play. I think it's just a feeling that TC is going to have to get going into this game. I think that you can't go into this game and just come out and open up and zipping the ball everywhere. I think it's got to be a strategy. It's got to be a good pairing or pairing that, and at halftime, that's, I think, when the game is going to be won. Who's going to make the right adjustments in this game? Because both defenses are great. But, everybody's talking about Jacoby. But I'm telling you, Prairie View's got a kid over there that's peaking at, and then they got another kid that's coming off the bench is just as good.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things is what I said earlier. Who's good? Who's the playmaker? Who can make a difference? Is that kid Rembrandt? I think he can make a difference. And like you said, Coach Fred, all you gotta do is give him that, and he'll take it to the house. LC, you faced a lot of great quarterbacks in your championship years. Tony Romo and all the greats. What did you think? And you're a defensive guy as well, going into a championship game.
Well, I can't relate on, both of those quarterbacks because, we were playing during the same time, they were playing. But it's just like you said, the quarterback got to be able to manage the game and, not throw the game away or doing something different that, wasn't in the game plan. And I think that's the main thing. Sometimes a lot of players get into the big show, can't handle the big show. And we're going to see that the matchup between these guys because it seems like both teams got quarterbacks that are kind of like, up and down a little bit and just going to see, which one of them going to, be prepared and ready to, to do the right thing for their team to win.
Yeah. Now, Heish, you think that Jacoby, because Lockhart is his first time coming into it. I know he's played at Jack State, but this is a big game for him. But if Jacoby walk in there, how much will that give Jackson State an advantage over Prairie View?
It's so the teams are so evenly matched. It's like it won't surprise me which way it goes. I think it may give them a little bit of a moral boost if he can play, if he's truly the leader of that team. And it's like you see your guy coming back, like you about to go fight somebody street against street, and you got the guy coming with you that got some hands. You feel like, okay, we all right now. But it's gonna be, can he protect himself and still be all right? So that's the way I look at it.
Fred, you played against both of them, right? Cam Peters, you played against Jacoby in your years. What you think when you compare them? Could you compare them? Well, how would you compare them?
Even though I don't think Jacoby wants to run, he can, and he's a big kid, right? Yeah. 15. I'm sorry, 15. If anybody from Jackson's listening, 15. But he's a senior, so it's cool. He can run. He's a big kid, but again, if he's not 100%, that's something different. The kid from Prairie View, CP, has really gotten better as the season went on. And I think once they settled in and, he continued to get more and more reps, he's almost a kid that is over 2,000 yards. He has a really good go-to receiver as well. I don't want to play that kid short. He's almost a 1,000-yard receiver in this league, which is big time. But I just think from a leadership standpoint, somebody that's been in it, somebody that's done it, I think, that edge goes to 15.
Yeah. Let's talk about the two coaches. You got a national championship. Well, not a national championship, but they're taking a team to the national championship, has won conference championships, been in the SWAC. You got T.C. Taylor that has won a championship, is in the SWAC. And the great thing about it for the fan base, one's an offensive guy and one's a defensive guy.
Coach,
go ahead?
Now, I just was going to say, from my standpoint, last year, and I never worked on the staff with Coach Taylor, but our paths have crossed. I was happier for him and Jackson State University with him being a head coach 100%. Leading into the championship than almost if my own brother would have led him to. It's one of them. I felt like that's a dude that's like me that did that. Yeah. And the gutsiest call, I think, that it sort of went under the radar when Jackson got the ball back, and I think everybody thought they were going to sit on it. And when he let Morgan throw that pass, I'm like, oh, wow, that was a big-time call right there. But I was happy for them. And like I say, it's some still waters that run deep between Southern and Jackson. But I was happy as heck for that man and Jackson State University when they won that championship.
Coach, I felt like I was on that field.
Yeah.
Saying it was just great. I mean, that feeling, man, I'm telling you, that a career coach,
Yes.
HBCU career coach, a damn hell of a damn football player. Shit, when he
Yes.
called on us, he'll see about 200 yards in
Yeah.
that game when we played him.
Yeah.
To walk and put that trophy up, man, shit, tears came to my eyes.
Yeah.
It's like you just said, Coach, I felt that was me. You know what I mean?
I felt good about T.C. Taylor, seeing him as a player when we played against him, and he was a great athlete doing that, and a guy always carried himself very professionally, and not just saying that, but just me being around him and being at the coaches convention, and he wasn't these standoff type guys. He was kind of consult, with everybody, and then when he was trying to look for a job and stuff, I seen him work at the convention, walking around and doing the different things, and then when he was at Jackson State, as came when Dion was there, he sat there, he paid his dues, sat quietly and didn't say anything. And then when they turned around and gave him the job, I was just very proud that they brought one of their own, back as a coach and seeing what he did. So it shows you that young coaches in the SWAC that come through, they can do the same thing if you're trying to bring somebody else in. Sometimes you got to realize that you got the right guy was right there at Jackson State, and look what he's doing now. And that's what I just say. Sometimes be proud of your own production out of your own conference.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Fred, put your head. We working on your head job too, Fred. Put your hat on. How do you stop 2 or 3 ways or one way that you slow down a TC Taylor offense, and how do you move past number 3 in the nation and number 1 on third down defense of Tremaine Jackson? What you have to do?
First of all, I just want to chime in with what y'all said about Coach T.C. And I've said on several shows, man, the fact that a first-time head coach was given an opportunity for somebody who, as you just let in, possibly looking to be a first-time head coach. And, Coach Taylor didn't have the celebrity tag, so to speak, but he just came in with the work. AD actually gave him an opportunity, and he showed what he could do with it. And I think for that part was big, even though he was a bitter rival. I was happy he was given the opportunity and he was able to make good with it, because for future guys that want to become head coaches, they can always point back to this. Now, into that with him, being a former receiver, he don't call offense like a receiver. He calls offense like a running back. So, my thing would be to stop his offense is, we got to get movement. We got to make those big guys up front be a little hesitant in what they're doing with their blocking assignments. Meaning we got to move those guys, whether we're slanting, whether we're doing some TE stuff, whatever. We got to make sure that we muddy that up front versus his offense. And then we got to know where that little receiver is, just because, again, he can take a bubble screen 80 yards. So we got to know where he is. Defensively, we've got to move the pocket versus his defense versus Quinn. I think we've got to put his depth in the question. We got to see if the defensive player of the year can play all game. And then we got to put pressure on that secondary, if that's me on the other side. And then, if I'm going against Coach Jackson's offense, I just want to bend, don't break. Bend, don't break. Make them earn everything they do. They've had some big plays off of play action type stuff, RPOs, bend, don't break. And then, defensively, I want to put some of those guys in one-on-one situations. I think, on the corner, they're okay. Obviously, they're in a championship game, so they're more than okay. But I want to see if those corners can hold up as long as the game goes on without having that safety and linebacker help, because that's where they're really strong. So I want to get the ball to the perimeter. Offensively, put the pressure on them, turn up the tempo, because I don't know how deep they are. So just turn up the tempo and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, wait, one thing, because I don't want to. We got 3 championship coaches. We haven't talked about one phase of the game. special teams.
Yeah.
We got. I know we talking a lot. I want to talk about the ground level thing because you got a guy at Jack State, Travis Terrell, that can single-handedly flip this game. So I want to talk, and Coach Cole, LC Cole, being a defensive guy and putting this talk, and I'll go around the horn. Talk about how important overall special teams is in a game like this. And then I know because Coach Cole, you haven't watched these guys, but Coach Northern and Coach Fred, some of the special team guys, and the kicking game, punting, and because we know SWAC kickers can also be good at badass scrambling. You know what I mean? Things like that. So Coach Cole, big brother Cole, talk about special teams in a game like this, and then we'll go around the horn to Coach Fred and Coach Northern about the specific players on making plays.
I've been a special team coach ever since I started in the coaching. And like I said, it's three phases of a football game. There's offense, there's defense, and there's special teams. Special teams is the one that's going to put you in good field position. You got a good punter, put him in bad field position. You got a good guy who can return it, going to put you in good field position. Because the whole game is about field position, where you start with that ball. I would always want my offense not to start on the 10 or 20. I want them mugs to be at that midfield there. And when you get to midfield, you ain't never got another 50 yards to go. Mm-hmm. So field position, that's going to make a big difference with the special teams. I don't know what their average or what their punter is and their punt returner, but those will be major factors in the game.
Coach Northern, tell us about what you've seen from Jack State. And I know specifically what you've seen. Tell the people that we need to look for on special teams while with Prairie View and what you've seen from Jack State.
Well, I really do like Jackson's return guys. Like I say, I tell the truth, man. They got some special jokers when it comes to when they get the ball in their hand. And early in the season, Prairie View struggled on their kickoff team to the fact that they started sky kicking. People started complaining about the sky kick. And then when they started back kicking it deep, you saw why they were sky kicking. Now, Diego, a local kid from right here in Cypress, he can kick the ball out the end zone on some of his kickoffs. The punt return has been the punt team for Prairie View has been pretty good, minus the one that they got blocked. But I think the key is going to be not giving up the hidden yardage. You know, I was a special teams coordinator my first job with Coach Williams. I would tell guys, know where the wind is blowing. I would rather than kick the ball over your head than let the ball hit in front of you and roll 20 yards. So you have to make those little bitty adjustments in the game. On kickoffs, catch the ball going with some momentum, not catch it, take 2 steps back, and then going. But I think those are going to be the keys. Another major key is the hidden yardage. I think both teams' kickers are going to be on point. I think Diego may have a little bit more distance, probably from, I'm going to say 55 in. Coach Jackson might say 52 in on the field goals. Punter's going to be tit for tat, even though Jackson's punter had a couple of them that were real short, a couple games. But I think that was just, jitters and all that. But that's going to be one of the major keys is whose kickoff team is going to play well and who don't let the ball roll 20 yards and have to get 2 extra first downs.
Coach Fred?
Let me give y'all the weather condition, and y'all can keep talking about the special team. Be 53 the high, 43 the low, and it might be raining. So go ahead, Fred.
Jackson State has an excellent kicker who can put it through the back of the end zone. And, I would tell, PV, if you're not sure it's going through the back of the end zone, stay away from that other guy, right? Because he don't need a lot. As you saw last year, this year's numbers was down because everybody looked, hey, find out where he is. We're going the other way. And that's, pretty much that part of the game. And then, PV's got a decision to make. As Coach said earlier, they went to the sky kick. That's where you talk about the hidden yardages. We talked about in our staff room leading up the year before, we didn't kick to them. We sky kicked it. We squibbed it, which gave them excellent starting field position, as Big Brother Cole just talked about. And you got to make a decision. If you want to try the kick and you're not sure you can get out of the end zone, stay away from him. But sky kicking it gives them a shorter field. So, you got to make a decision on that. And then, the punting part of it, Jackson State's near the bottom of the conference in punting yards. So, that's something that Prairie View can actually, if they can get them in third down situations and make them have to punt the ball, that can give them an opportunity to flip the field and control the tempo. Because like I said, Jackson State's at near the bottom, and then PV's on the top half. So PV's punt game is really good. And, Mr. Campbell, you bring that up. That is one of those things that you've got to make sure you understand where that guy is for Jackson, because he's a national player at that deal. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you know where he is. And if you can't put it out the back, you got to make sure you go the other direction, because you don't want to make any mistakes in that situation, because that could be problems that you didn't prepare for. Because again, that's that hidden yardage in that whole thing.
Yeah, Coach Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Let's start putting these cats on the spot and get some grades and see where we are. You ready for that?
Absolutely, Coach. Let's do it. So one of the things one thing real quick, Coach. We talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. I wanted to make sure we got a special team. Now, Coach, want to really put y'all on the spot. And everything sounds like. Well, Coach, go ahead, get them started. I'm gonna let you get them started.
All right, offensive line. LC, what grades you give Prairie View and Jackson State?
Well, I'm gonna give them even. I'm giving both B's because they wouldn't be there if they weren't good.
Yeah. Hey, Heisman.
Look, I'm gonna give them both A's actually, because you think the way that they run the ball. And I think Prairie View is only, and that goes into the quarterback play, is only giving up maybe 5 or 6 sacks the whole season. I don't care who you got back there. That's not a lot.
Yeah. Damn, we still at 0-0. Fred, I'm sorry. What you got?
I'm going to go with the big brother Cole. You got to give them at least B, because if they wouldn't B-ish, they wouldn't be in that game. So, I think if I had to go B+, I'd go Jackson, B, Prairie View for sure.
All right, here we go. Let's go tight end. Tight end, both of them play with a little tight end. I know Prairie View, his is more of an H-back. He kind of swings out at the wide out end. Tight end, Fred?
I give Prairie View the edge in that situation. I give that kid there an A, and then I give the kid from Jackson, in the way they're using, I give him a B-.
Okay. LC.
I'm gonna flip what he just said and go to the other one B+ and the other one B-.
Okay. All right, Heist.
I'm gonna give both of them outstanding. I give Prairie View the edge, A to B.
Okay. He called a big one against Texas Southern to win the game. All right, let's go. We got to go to the running back. They both Prairie View run with somewhat a committee, and Jackson State also has one or two, and maybe even go deeper at sometimes. Yes. What you think, Heist?
Look, it's gonna sound like I'm being too nice, but I think you got to give both of them A's. You have Prairie View had a couple 200 and 300 yard rushing game. Jackson State had a game where they had 3 guys go over 100 in one game. So I think you got to get that room of both schools. Both of them got to get A's, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, Fred?
I like what Coach said, but you have one guy go in that thing with 1,000 yards. Yeah. So you gotta give him, the A+. That's hard to do. So I would give him an A+. Give that room an A+, and I would give the Prairie View room a B+.
Yeah. A. Miller was 1,000-yard rusher for Jackson State. LC.
I'll go with give Prairie View give them the B and give Jackson State the B.
You keep it up with the points, Campbell?
I like to go with the committee.
I'm just letting them talk. We good on that, because I'm not going, because here's the thing. Because what's going to end up happening, they're going to basically have the same grade. That's why they're both in the championship. That's why I already see it. I'd rather hear, to me, it's not so much the grade, it's about the analysis of the grade.
Right. You got Bingham for Prairie View, Rush for 824, and of course Miller for Jackson State over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hey, the wide out. Let's just go probably the wide receiver group of Jackson State versus Prairie View.
I'm gonna give Jackson State the A because that's what they do, and then I'll give Prairie View the B.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Fred.
I'm like that. I'm gonna give them the because I really like that kid, so I'm gonna give them a A+. But Prairie View has a kid that's right there with him as well, and make sure that he gets a B+ as well. That room, but Jackson State has more to come with it, if that makes sense. Where I would give that room the nod.
Yeah, and speaking of the numbers, Wimbrand had 41 catches for 694. Dupree, 29 catches for 473. And Gardner, junior receiver, 32 catches for 445. So they do. That's really three that can go get it. We just know that Wimbrand can shut it down. What about you, Heis?
I would go the same way. I think the thing that makes Rembert so special, if he's that third guy in the trips, you better make sure you got to slide somebody close to him, because it's almost like the quarterback will come up and we call it stick or stab, and he may run up a couple yards and turn around, and they say, get that joker the ball. I don't care how you get it to him, and let him human joystick his way to 12 yards before you know it.
I've seen it go for 60.
Yeah. And for our viewers, Rembrandt was playing with Mississippi Valley last year.
Yes.
And I mean, he went from playing tailback to slot to tight end to motion guy to flanker, and wherever he went, they threw the ball to him.
Mm-hmm. And he got there too.
He would take that. And just talking about Prairie View's receiving, they got Rockwell got 62 catches for 959, 25 for Dennis for 395, and Ojo receiver for 24 receptions for 285. So in that receiving crew got 11 touchdown passes to him. All right, the major spot, you got Cam, Peterson, you got Lockhart, you got Jacoby.
I'm giving both of them B's.
Both B's.
Yep, both teams B's at quarterback.
All right, and let me say, Peterson threw for 2,000 yards this year, 143 for 225 attempts. He's averaging 63 completion rate. He threw 16 TDs and 6 INTs, and 4 of those INTs was just against Alabama State. Mm-hmm. So naturally, he threw 2 damn near for most of the season. Of course, on the other hand, you got J-State. Of course, we don't know if Jacoby is coming back. He has 1,175 yards to Lockhart's 1,000 yards. Lockhart completing 68%. Jacoby completing 61%. Jacoby threw 10 touchdowns. Lockhart threw 7. And together they got 4 interceptions, 2 and 2. What you got there, LC?
Oh, no, I said I gave both of them B's because.
Oh, okay. Which quarterback you get edge to?
They playing both, they're going to be, if they end up playing multiple quarterbacks. So I just kind of say it's going to balance the game out to see how that goes. Going to make the difference.
All right, Heisman.
I'm going to get an edge to Cam, especially if the young kid has to play for Jackson.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. If Jacoby Morgan walks out that door, then what do you say then?
It depends. Hey, do he walk out or does he limp out?
Do what you say, Heis?
Does he walk out or does he limp out?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Because see, listen. This will because this is very important. And as you all as coaches, you just said walk out or limp out. So I'm gonna throw that back at you. If he's limping, are you going to play him?
No.
Okay. No. So he walks out there. So let's go to so he walks out there. That means he's ready to play. To your point, right? So 15 is underneath the center. What do you say then?
Well, I just, for your question, I would just say I would know before the end of the week over whether he's going to play or not. I'm not going to play the game of him doing that, coming out there and all that kind of stuff like that. I don't put the kid in that kind of situation.
If Jacoby come out, I got three defensive coaches that's been coordinated. If he limps out, does that change your game plan? Does it change it to more pressure now? Let's move him off his spot.
I'm coming to get him.
Depending on which leg it is, I'm gonna see if he can run right or left. He's not gonna sit in one spot.
That's right.
He might if he's right-handed, all of my blitzes may come this way because I may want him to run to his left hand. So it's some strategy involved in playing against a quarterback that's hurt.
Fred?
I really like the young kid. And again, Coach Taylor would know better than I would. But if 15 is 80%, I got to go with the young kid. Plus he's hot. You know what I mean? So I would actually, go with him. But I would give the kid from PV an A, and the young kid building actually a B+.
Yeah, because the Lockhart kid, when you look at his numbers, his numbers are right below Jacoby's. It ain't like there is a big difference. My whole thing is, can I open up the playbook to Lockhart as much of can I open up the play with Jacoby? I know I could do that with him, but do you open up the play? Do that make Jackson State's offense a little shy?
Coach, can I add something?
Or predictable?
Yes. Can I add something? So one thing that I'm thinking when I'm talking about pressure, it might not be a lot of cover zero blitzes, because to me, if you cover zero blitz a young guy with some, just say if Savage is out there, he could throw a jump ball in his 50-50. You may actually clear the pitcher up for him. I'm going to bring pressure, and it's probably going to be some type of zone pressure or overload that now he still got to read parts of the defense. So, like I said, I'm talking about pressure, but I'm not talking about zero man-to-man back turn to the quarterback type of stuff.
Yeah, Fred, since you've been in the league, and I know you watch it every week, Heisman, watching the two quarterbacks, Cam and Jacoby or Lockhart, which one of them handle pressure the most? Or the best, I should say.
And again, I give the nod to the young kid because he was the last one we faced. We faced PV week 4, week 3, something like that. But just kind of watching him, he's a lot bigger than you think he is, Coach, as far as height-wise. And he's put together. And he's kind of done some things since he's taken over that's been impressive for a young kid. Now, he took some shots versus us. He kept getting up. We rattled him a little bit, but he was able to get back under control. And then that's where Coach Taylor comes into play, because now we're not just going out there nilly-willy throwing it 30 times a game. We're going to give it to that 1,000-yard rusher, and we're going to help him settle in. And, I like him. I like his stature. He's, to me, prototypical 6'3", 215-ish, somewhere in there, with a strong arm. He's got guys around him, and he's got to be feeling himself right now. So, what I know, confidence is half the battle, and everybody else around him believing. And if 15 can't go, you got to believe that those guys have tailored a game plan that will work for the young kid.
What about Cam Peters? Does he handle pressure well?
He knows where he's going with the ball, and that's half the battle as well. And his safety blanket, I gave an A. The tight end, H-back, he knows where that kid is at all times, and he runs really good, and that could be a key for him as well, knowing when to hold, when to fold, and get out of town with that ball and be, protective. And I think that's what he's got to make sure he understands in that game. And I know we talked about it earlier. You don't have to make every throw. A possession end, everybody in here knows a good possession will end with either a touchdown or a kick. That's all we want.
Yeah.
And if he does that, if he handles that and not one of those possessions where sudden change, everybody's yelling for defense to jump off the bench and run on the field.
Yeah.
I think, they still have a chance. So Cam, I think, does really good. The quarterback from PV does really good with that. But again, like I said, I give my edge to the young kid. And if, 15 is not 100%, I can't see Coach Taylor not riding with the kid that's got him to this point.
Can I ask the coach away? Coach, can I ask all the coaches a question? Because one of the things we're talking about the black and white, but how much, because now we're talking about Jacobian being the leader of the team, how much do intangibles matter for a leader like this to come out on that field in a championship game? How much do the intangibles matter in a game like this? Coach Fred, I'll start with you and we'll go around the horn.
I think it matters a lot. If you go back and you look, our history when I was at Alcorn was that the guy that brought us there usually didn't finish the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about Noah Johnson, and he didn't get a chance to finish it, but Felix had came in, like the kid at Jackson, and earned that deal to the point to where everybody was kind of like, Felix got it. He's got that he's got us. We're going to get behind him, even though Noah's the person that brought us here. So I think that's big, and he's earned the right to have those intangibles because he's got them to this point.
What about you, Coach? The intangibles, and you can talk about the intangibles with Cam Peters too. But let's start with Jacobian Morgan and Tam being the leader of that team, as they call him, the general, and how important it is if the Jack State the crowd, even themselves, see him walk out there and get hyped.
I just think it goes a long way. Just more, like you say, in terms of the leadership, can he keep everything steady in a hostile environment? Like everybody know, sometimes being a quarterback is just being a winner, no matter what it is. If they go play ping pong, he gonna win. If they go fishing, he gonna win. That's the kind of guy you need at quarterback that can rally the troops no matter what the score is and keep everybody level-headed. That's when the intangibles to me mean something, because I've seen great quarterbacks come out of high school, but if they didn't play at a winning program, I don't want any part to do with them. So it must be something to the kid if they call him the general, because that's a sign of respect.
Yeah. Coach LC Cole, what about you with the intangibles? How much do you think intangibles play? And you have won championships with players that are known for their intangibles. How important do you think for Jacobian Morgan coming out there, being the leader of the team, as they say, being called those intangibles?
Oh, I think it's real important, man. I always just talk about a kid. We had Darnell Kennedy. That guy had all the intangibles. I mean, you look at a young man that went through three different coaches. He went through Ron Dickerson. He went through I guess the other coach, and then he went through us. And it was just kind of like you just had confidence in all the players. Everything just had confidence in that kid. And I just said, man, this mother went through 3 head coaches, 3 different systems, and still put the ball up in the air and gain all those numbers and SWAC Player of the Year when he came out. And I think it's very important because the team feel very confident about that guy. I mean, like I said, he was just like Johnny. I mean, hey, they both sit in there, ate McDonald's, watched the film, everything. We got in the film. He was able to call the offense by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I could just went on and told JC to take a vacation, and Darnell Kennedy would have handled that. So don't think he was calling that when Darnell Kennedy was calling the plays, not JC.
Now, Coach Cole, I want you to now, Coach, you were a quarterback.
Yeah.
You were a quarterback whisperer. How big are the intangibles for Jacobian Morgan, being the leader of that team, coming out there and his brothers in arms see him back? How important is that intangible?
It actually, the backup, we were in the same situation as Jackson State. Leon Murray had tore his knee up in the middle of the year, maybe game 6 or 7. And we had a kid, Perkins, come right behind him and take us to the championship game and win it, so it can be done. Fortunately for those 2 kids, they were more on the same level as opposed to Lockhart being is Lockhart a true freshman or a redshirt freshman?
Right, freshman, yep.
Freshman.
True freshman,
So that's a lot of pressure on a freshman kid. And you can't take nothing. You can't say that it will and won't have nothing to do with the outcome of the game. But some freshman kids come in and their blood is It's ice is cold. You know what I mean? But you got some of them get a little rattled, get a little shook up. But I think Lockhart has played enough games where he'll come in, cool, calm, but again, the game in that position is played up here.
But that's what I'm asking about, Coach. I want you to talk about Jacoby and Morgan because, again, when I'm here, more likely than not, he's going to come through that tunnel. So I'm asking you, with your T.C. Taylor, you got Jacoby Morgan, his intangibles.
Yeah, it's very important. And unfortunate for him, it's very important that this team is his team. You know what I mean? This is his team. This is Jacoby Morgan's team, and unfortunately he got injured. And I think it's very important that he be on the sideline. Very important.
Okay, Coach, we got everybody. Listen, we're about to come to the bend. Coach, do we want to do predictions? Do we want to get some predictions out of these guys?
Yeah, of course, man. They got TV time, man.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look, Fred ain't gonna be able to go back to Mississippi, or he gonna have to move out of Mississippi.
So this is what we'll do. Coach C. Cole will ask you for your prediction and reason why you gave what. We'll ask you for you. You don't have to give a score. You can say if you want to give a score, you can give a score. But tell us who you think will win, and tell us who you think will win and why do you think they'll win.
Well, I'm just because I'm a little bit biased to Tremaine because he coached at Texas Southern when I was there at Texas Southern, and I just seen him grow as a player, and I just seen that he's been consistently building programs and been winning since he's kind of like been in the business. And TC did the same thing. So when you start looking at both of them, they both have that right there. But I'm gonna push on the defensive side of the ball because I'm a defensive side guy. So I'm gonna push for Prairie View defensively. That's where the game is probably gonna be won at.
Okay, Coach Northern, what you got?
So I don't do predictions.
Right, that's fine.
Because I say 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna probably be on the sideline. So some of these, I ain't gonna call them dudes, but some guys, if you don't pick them to win, they get sensitive.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this. I think it's gonna be a close game until about the third quarter, and then I think it's gonna be a special teams blunder, a couple big plays that it's gonna be like 4 minutes that change the whole game. And I can see it being like 10-10 maybe at the half or something like that. And then at the end, it's going to, I think, in the 30s to 17s either way. But it might be the special teams play that flipped the game or one big pass play that changed everything.
Coach Fred, now you can take the same tack because I know you out there making some moves. So if you want to take the same tack as Coach North, that's fine. We totally understand.
Hey, you know how that go, Coach.
Yeah.
It's one of them deals where, I pride myself on being part of the media now, so as well. But, the football side of it, and one thing that we didn't talk about is the surface. Friday's supposed to bring some rain. PV plays on turf. JSU plays on the grass. They've been in this thing. Who does that bother the most? Who's able to adapt the quickest in that situation? And it pains me when you said that, because it's like in my mind, I know what I gotta say. I know how I gotta lean, and here's why: because the champs are the champs, and Mr. Campbell from other shows, I'm always like, you got to go with the champs if somebody beats them, and they have the experience. So it's the experience takes over for me. They have the running game. If the young kid has to come out there, they have the running game to support him. And then I know Quinn, good friend of mine, again, he's in there right now, I'm sure, finding the tip. So it's one of them deals where it's going to pain me to say it, but I got to think the champs remain the champs. But I do think it's a close and competitive game.
All right.
I'll leave it at that.
We're not going to let you get off of that. We already know where you kind of lean it, but tell us what you think.
Well, here's the reason why. Besides, everybody know that Tremaine worked up underneath me, is that it ain't gonna be no game where one team walking in there and just gonna blow out the other. That just ain't gonna happen to me. I think both teams play defense great. I think Prairie View's defense is more keep the ball in front of us. Let's come up and make the tackle. You got to be good on first down against them, because if you got to throw the ball, they're going to go into that two Kathy, whatever they want to call that, and it's going to be hard. It gives quarterbacks fits. That's why on third down, they're the #1 team in the nation. Jackson State's defense is, like you said earlier, Fred and Heist, that they come after you. They going to pressure you. Jackson State has always been that. They're going to try to out-athlete you. But what happens with that is the game go long. If that offense ain't scoring, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to make you remember some, Heist, when we came and took over y'all at Southern University, y'all had 22 returning seniors. Y'all would play man coverage in the locker room the whole week. And then they get in the game and hold everybody, but then one of them slip and fall, touchdown. Get tired at the end, touchdown. And when we came as a staff and started teaching them zone and where they could rest and take a play out, and they already could play man. So I'm saying that to say at Jackson State, when I seen them against Grambling, they let Grambling stay around. The offense didn't score, because when you down by 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, then you become predictable. They never made Grambling predictable. And that's what happened. And I think in this game, if Jackson State don't score early, I think at halftime, I think the best coaches, make great halftime adjustments. And some of them, most of the time, it's got to be offensively, to make halftime adjustments. But one thing about Prairie View, they don't keep that ball in front of them. They're going to try to shut down all the big plays. And if they can do that, man, they can make some things happen. But Jackson State is Jackson State. They're great on both ends. If you let them intimidate you, it's going to be a long night. But I just really think, man, that it's time for Prairie View. I just really think that Tremaine and his staff, not taking nothing away from T.C. Taylor's staff, I think they make the adjustments and they win a close one.
Hey, Coach, listen. I've had all the coaches. Now I'm gonna speak as a fan. You got the faith to do this. I've been around the SWAC a long time, there, Coach. Seen a lot of big games over there between State and West Street, over there at the vet, as they call it. I've been in there with 60-something thousand. Now, Coach, let me tell you something. Did you know no road team has ever won the SWAC championship?
I heard that before.
Do you know that Jackson State has won 3 out of the last 4 SWAC championships in that vet stadium, Coach? And Coach, I'm just gonna say something, Coach. I'm just gonna say something. Coach, I'm just gonna share something for you, because I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, Coach. I'm from Jackson. And I'm just going to say just one quick thing, let me see here. We get this thing here. Let's get the thing. Hold on. I had a problem with this. There we go. Coach, listen here. When you hear this right here, Coach, you hear this right here? In Jackson, Mississippi, on Saturday, it's going to be a football game. We're talking Walker Payne, Robert Brazil, W.C. Gordon. Champions are made on that field, Coach. And when them boys are here, in this way here, Coach, and I love Coach T.J., but they won't be staying in Atlanta because the Coach is definitely going to see ready here. I saw Coach. That's what they're doing there, Coach. Jackson State, WAC champions here. I'm sorry, Coach. I love y'all all. I'm sorry. The Tigers roaring, man.
All right. Well, you see this man over, let me tell you about the Sonic Boom. You see this man over there, LC Cole? You see this other Cole boy? We don't spank Jackson State and the Sonic Boom ass for years.
But neither one of y'all.
Years. And I got a kid coming in there named Tremaine Jackson.
Neither one of y'all a coach. That's why we got y'all here to review. Neither one of y'all a coach. Now y'all can
I said we got one of our proteges,
okay.
Tremaine Jackson, is going to shut that down.
Coach, I'm just letting you know. When they get ready, come on, Coach. I thought Coach Cole about to break something up. So I'm just letting you know, Coach. When that thing goes.
Hey, I'm bringing that right there. That's a game ball. See that? That's a game ball.
Hey, Go get
That's a game ball. Hey, I'm gonna give it to you.
We put up 68 points on him.
You see, now, I'm about to do that, Scotty. I was way back before the internet there, Coach. Way back before
I know Scotty watching. I know he watching.
You said they won the last 3 out of 4?
You that Sonny Boone is off the chain. Hell, I got the, that's the SWAC, baby. You talking about
Coach, that's the SWAC. Listen, Coach, listen, you know I had to laugh. I had to have a little fun with that, man. It wouldn't be me, Listen, I'm just going to say this again. I think it's going to, honestly, I'm excited about this game because I think Coach Northern said, and Coach Cody says, far as this matchup in this era, this is the coaching-wise, you can't get any better coaching matchup.
That's right.
And I think what's going to be very good, it's going to be a great game to watch on TV. And for me, that's very important because you're going to get a lot of casual fans that's going to say, oh, the SWAC championship, let me check it out. And I think you're going to see a high level of play on both sides. And I think what you're going to see, I think, again, and that's the reason why, and Coach, I'm saying this respectfully about Cam Peters. I don't think he can just turn around and just hand the ball off. I think Jackson. So the reason why I said about being an all SWAC before, I think he's going to, for them to win, he's going to have to be a star. I think he is a star. So I don't think he's just going to have to hand the ball. So when I say all SWAC, it's not him doing something outside himself. I think he has the ability to be even better because when you're in a championship game, that's what you have to do. Championship players make championship plays. Mm-hmm. So that we've seen Jacoby and Morgan do that. We've seen that run-in type do that. We've got a championship coach, like I say, that's played that championship with Tremaine Jackson. And that's the reason why I'm sorry. We have a championship coach with T.C. Taylor. So you're going to see championship type plays. So that's the reason why in the end, for me, with Cam Peters, I don't believe he can't be a pedestrian in this game. He's got to be a guy that makes the play and hold that trophy in the field they're going to win.
Can you imagine, man, we got 2 guys that were playing for national championships in our championship in the SWAC. Jack was playing for Division II national championship, and T.C. Taylor played for the HBCU national championship. Man, it's man, you talking about 2 great coaching staff, it's 2 great head coaches, man. It's gonna be a battle, man. I mean, it's great. This bring back the old days. Come on, Campbell. Your W.C. Gordons against your Eddie Robinsons, your Marino Castles, man. It brings back just chills to my body. Heist, you've been in there, Fred, you kind of been around. LC, you faced some of the great ones, and Pete Richardson and Eddie and all those cats as well. Man, it's SWAC time, Coach.
It is.
We getting that edge back, and hopefully Marshall Falk can come in and because we need a Southern team to be good. We need a Southern team to be good, to continue to be good. And so hopefully that we can get that together. Man, guys, I'm glad that you guys came on. Big bro, as always. Fred, man, I can't wait to get a chance to meet you. Heist, man, you're a superstar, man. And I don't know why you ain't in coaching, but we talked off the field, man, and you're a hell of a coach. Of course, you was a hell of a football player. You're a hell of a father, husband, man. I can't say enough about you.
Thank you.
Hopefully somebody can get you off the bench and get back out there because I know you touch young kids, man.
Yes, sir.
And I know LC and Fred, they both looking for jobs now, and hopefully that won't take long, and get them back on the sideline.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
You said they won 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah.
The one that they didn't win, who won that one?
Well, you know that. You know that. So listen. This is the thing about it. We had to come to the SWAC, and show Grambling, follow with Grambling.
I found out how to get to the chat, and they were on you in the chat, so I was giving you an alley-oop.
Well, listen. I know people in the chat. Listen, man. Listen. Okay, just real quick. And Coach Coles and Coach Northern, you lost to Mississippi Valley. Y'all know that's a cardinal sin. We all know that, right? We all know that.
We all seen the last play of the game too.
Yeah, we all know that. So with that being said, as you all know, to be a champion, you got to have championship coaches. We'll see what happens, but I'll just tell you this: championship. Let me just say this. Congratulations, Mr. Valley. That's what I'll say. Because you know what? I'm going to end on a positive note. Because you know what? I talked to Coach Buckley. He's going to come back on HBCU Coaches Corner and talk about that great victory. And I'll just leave it. Well, people try to
dude,
get me
man. Congratulations to him.
They try to get me in trouble.
I tried to give you the layup, man. I tried to give you the oop. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen,
off
man,
the backboard.
Hey, but like Coach Cole, like Coach LC did, one thing they can never do is take that trophy away from. We still will have been an HBCU champion in both the SWAC and the MEAC. So hey, there you go.
Yeah. LC, any last words?
No, you all guys be blessed and go to the game. I might be at the game. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Jordan, you going to be at the game?
Yes, sir. I am going down. I said I'm gonna try to get there early and walk around and maybe give me a burger or something like that. I'm gonna call a game for Mike Prince on the Open Mic Network for Prairie View.
Nice.
I'm gonna get there early and try to give me a little something on the sideline.
Right. Coach Fred.
I'm trying to get my sideline credentials. Those folks in Jackson love me, so I don't want to disappoint them. Make sure I'm there in person and get some footage for this channel as well as the Blue Bloods, man, and kind of just want to be in it, want to touch it. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Yes.
People, please support it. You don't know how much this means to have this on campus. Being that we were one of the first ones to have it on campus, and then I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you, Mr. Campbell, for bringing me on with the legendary Cole brothers and somebody who played under them, who could probably tell us the gazillion stories that I've heard. Because I've crossed paths with y'all, and y'all don't even realize it. Like I coached at Stillman the year that they ended the football program, and everybody talks about the Cole brothers. So to be on with you guys, man, means a whole lot. And Mr. Campbell, you know how I feel about you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach Fred. Well,
right.
Coach, it sounds like we can wrap this up. So we had the HBCU All-Star Roundtable talking about the SWAC Championship Game. Coach LC Cole, Coach Northern, and Coach Fred, we appreciate you joining the HBCU Coaches Corner. And I tell you what, we're going to have to do, as a matter of fact, Coach, I'm just going to have to put it on wax. We're going to have to do this for the Celebration Bowl. I think folks want to see this. We're going to run this right back for the Celebration Bowl. What you think, Coach?
Now, we're trying to do it live, though, down in Atlanta, right? On Thursday.
I'm there. Let's do it. I'm there.
Coach, I already got it set up. Already, come on, man. Atlanta's my city. I already got a hotel. Already got it set up. No problem. Because that's what Rattlers do. I call it another rally, Coach. That's what we do. So
forget what these people in the chat talking about. That's what Rattlers do.
Oh man, listen. They got. Hey, Coach, see one thing about me. I don't mind it because one thing I love everybody. This is part of it, man. You got to take when you up on top, you talk your stuff. When you down on the bottom, you let them talk your stuff back to you. That's okay. We'll be back.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, man. Don't forget me.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, man.
Coach.
Man, that was great, Coach, man. When we make milestones, man, and companies, ain't no HBCU, ain't no channel that does this for the HBCU SWAC Championship Game. Ain't nobody gonna sit and talk. And then, we got something special too for next week when they go down to the other the Celebration Bowl. So, man, again, man, I can't say enough about you. We miss our man Rocky. I know he watching. You down there sipping on pineapples. Right. This is one for you too, Rock. We miss you, man. Campbell, you did a great job, man, and running the show. And man, I look forward to next week, next Tuesday, and also, I guess we'll decide whether we want to do a Thursday night or Friday night.
Right.
Maybe Friday night might be the best.
Coach, but here's the thing I want to say, and I think it's very important. This show has allowed a lot of our fans to see how great our coaches are. And I'm talking about for all the conference we've had, coaches from the SIAC, the MEAC, the SWAC, you know what I mean? And everywhere in between because of your relationships and who and what you are. A lot of people tease about, Campbell and Cole is old school, it's new school. But I always tell you, you got to know where you came from to know where you're going. That's the one thing about it. You got to know. So, Coach, we're going to let you turn it on. Let me make sure I got the thing to set this thing up. That's not me. Hold on. I get you. Let me get you back. I need Coach Cole. Let me see here. Let me get you in there so you can close it out. Let me figure that out. Okay, let's see that.
Well,
I tell you what, Coach. I don't know how to. I'm going to let you. I'm going to hang out here with you. Go ahead and close it out, Coach.
Man, look, it's been a great show, man. I can't say enough about the gentleman that joined us. This game, man, it brings me back to the old days of seeing the greats go at each other. T.C. Taylor, Jackson State alum, Texas Southern, Tremaine Jackson alum, HBCU National Championship coaches. It just got all top quarterbacks in Cam Peterson, Jacoby, and Lockhart, super tailbacks, great defenses ranked not in the SWAC or in Black College, in the nation. 2 powerhouse offenses in the nation. Man, you can't ask for a better setup. Prairie View, I'm reaching out to you. Y'all need to get in the bus, flight, everything to get down there. You guys will finish off of filling that stadium, because we know that Sonic Boom and them Jackson State fans is going to be there. They definitely going to be there. So Prairie View, get off your ass. For Christmas, take 2 or 3 gifts off the list, get on that plane flight or get in them cars and ride up there to see this fantastic contest. I can't say enough.
Now, Coach,
Guys,
you got to tell them to tie the rope now, Coach.
It's a holiday. That's what I said. It's a holiday, and don't worry about no gifts, man. If ain't just getting up in the morning, it ain't rain on your head, you got a little food to put in your stomach, and for some of us, you got a job to go to. But if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. See you guys next week. HBCU Coaches Corner is signing out.